Hi, in this video I'm gonna show you how to make this bass sound. It all begins with an instance of Massive. Massive is an old synth, but I'm just very used to it, so I keep using it out of habit. We make a little saw wave, and then we make sure that it's always as loud as possible within the ADSR curve. Then I'm going to distort this with the simple Browner tube distortion. Add some white noise. It's important that the white noise is added before the distortion, so we get this sound. I'm going to plug this into a new mixer channel, add some OTT, which is a free multi-band compressor, just makes stuff loud. I'm going to increase the ratios of all bands and lower the downwards and upwards compression amounts a little bit. And now back in Massive, I'm going to add a little bit of a kick to the start of every note, just like this. Basically, we're modulating the pitch of the bass. If we do it like this, it's way too noticeable and too long, so we just make it faster. And that's how you get punchy basses. For the OTT, I'm going to add a little bit of vocodex, which is a vocoding plugin. However, I will use the bass both as the modulator and carrier for the vocoder. However, I'm going to use the same signal both for the modulator and carrier of this vocoder, which means we're just going to process the signal with itself. That's going to be fun. And that's called self-vocoding. I want to make sure that none of the bass frequencies are processed, so we get them like raw. So first, just to check, I'm going to mute everything and then play my MIDI controller, and you can hear nothing. But if you turn this knob up, that lets some of the original signal through, and it's got like a low pass on here, and those will just pass through the plugin completely unprocessed. And now I'm just going to bring back everything except for the sub-frequencies, and those will be processed by vocodex. Now I'm going to bring all of these knobs down to 0 and disable the minimum times button, just to make vocodex respond really fast to any signal changes. I feel like it's not wide enough, so I'm going to add a second voice down here. Basically double the vocodex signal. Now we can make it like really nice and wide. If we add more bands, it'll just change the sound of it. And if you change the processing order in this field, it also just changes like the timbre of your sound. And that's my vocodex setup. You can also change the band distribution here to just change the timbre of the sound. There's a lot of like sound design depth in this plugin. You can do a lot of cool stuff with this. Now back in OTT, I'm just gonna bring down the highs a little bit, focus on the lower frequencies, and also add an equalizer to shape our sound a little bit more. Hell yeah. Alternatively, this is also something I like to do, is to bring Ozone Imager into here, which is a stereo spatial poopsie plugin. I'm gonna add a band here and just increase the width of everything except for the sub bass. Hell yeah. And now arguably the most important part to my bass sound design specifically, like my style of basses, is lots of automation, lots of movement, lots of knob tweaks over time, just to add a little bit of life to it. I'm gonna steal these notes from the earlier example. I'm gonna make a new pattern. And then what I usually do is just loop a section, or like loop the entire pattern, turn on automation recording up here in FL, and just record myself twisting some knobs, changing parameters, and just getting the goop in there. And then some more. In Massive we can also change the wavetable in here. I like these analog electric wavetables a lot. They sound quite nice most of the time. And then if we automate the wavetable position, that's yet another layer of motion, of movement. Hell yeah! And if you add lots of that, then you get something like this. Hell yeah! If you found this useful, you can give me money on Patreon, which supports my work. Bye bye!